It's been almost 2 full years since the startup wrestling company AEW has started up, and honestly, they've really made some amazing progress in that short amount of time. It's been said that AEW, or All Elite Wrestling, is pro wrestling done by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. And off the heels of a huge show at Arthur Ashe Stadium in front of an AEW record 20,000 plus fans, it's hard to argue that point. It was, in fact, the largest wrestling crowd ever at Arthur Ashe Stadium. It was also the only wrestling crowd ever at Arthur Ashe Stadium, but that's exactly where AEW excels. They go where the WWE isn't. AEW owner and former message board nerd Tony Khan has developed a real knack for surveying the wrestling landscape and finding the spots that the WWE aren't hitting. That's where he plants his flag. So with that in mind, we're Operation Sports and I'm Matt Ederer, and here are 5 things that AEW's upcoming game could do that WWE would never touch. Number 5. Owen Hart and the Owen Hart Cup. This could easily be its own entire list, or documentary series, or at least an episode of a hit TV show on Crave TV, Canada's only streaming service. Anyway, I will not have enough time to do this topic justice in this quick blurb, but briefly, in May of 1999, Owen Hart tragically passed away doing an idiotic and completely useless stunt in a WWE ring. Martha Hart, Owen's widow, has rightfully and understandably denied WWE her permission to do much with Owen Hart's name in the preceding 20 years. So AEW has stepped in and recently announced that they've partnered with the Owen Hart Foundation to create the Owen Hart Cup and to include him in merchandise and all kinds of things going forward, including this video game. So as Biz Stone once said, and Stephanie McMahon once quoted, "Philanthropy is the future of marketing. It's the way brands are going to win." Gross. Number 4. The seedy underbelly of wrestling. Speaking of gross, the world of pro wrestling has been largely built on some shady practices, and that's putting it lightly. For example, did you know that pro wrestling matches are fixed? I swear to God, Scout's honor, it's true. But seriously, there have been some truly terrible people in the annals of the wrestling business doing some truly terrible things. Monsters, really. These days, WWE tries to be something of a family show, perhaps to try to distract you from the fact that wrestling is a carny business built on the backs of murderers and sex criminals giving each other concussions. And I say that as a lifelong wrestling fan who loves wrestling. I just mean, like, it's true. Read a book about this stuff. Read any tweet ever by any wrestler born before the year 1980. Wrestling is a terrible business, full of terrible people, and we're all ridiculous for liking it. That's fact. But, what if a wrestling game really leaned into that seedy underbelly of pro wrestling? What if a pro wrestling game gave us a story mode like Blitz the League, or Grand Theft Auto? Dark Side of the Ring, the game. I'm not saying AEW will do this. I'm not even saying that they should do this or that it's smart to do this. What I'm saying to you is that if the AEW game let you buy steroids and beat up dudes in the parking garage, it would be a very different experience from WWE 2K22. Number 3. Death matches. Speaking of the seedy underbelly, death matches are extremely violent and bloody wrestling matches where, through a series of ridiculous stipulations, fake wrestlers maim each other for real. Don't worry, I won't splice in footage. Well, not real footage. But there have been such death matches as the Yokohama Amazon River Piranha Death Match, where the winner is the person who throws their opponent into the Yokohama Amazon River, which presumably is full of piranhas. There's also the no-rope electrified barbed wire swimming pool dynamite double hell death match. I don't know how you win that match, I assume by not dying. Anyway, AEW has dipped their toes into the world of death matches before, with their exploding barbed wire death match, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. That match quite literally ended with a whimper and not a bang. But AEW does put out a far bloodier and more violent product than WWE generally. AEW could really lean into their ultra-violent side in their video game and set themselves apart from the more family-friendly tone of the WWE 2K franchise. A cheap plug here, be sure to check out our list of 50 match types that WWE 2K22 could use. We don't even use the Exploding Piranha death match on that list because WWE doesn't do death matches, or at least they haven't yet. Number 2, the Forbidden Door. The Forbidden Door is the absolutely insufferable name that has been given to the working arrangement that AEW has with other wrestling promotions. With this, quote, Forbidden Door, open, gross, AEW wrestlers have appeared on Impact Wrestling shows in the United States, on AAA shows in Mexico, on New Japan shows in Japan, and everything in between, except WWE, of course. This free exchange of talent has been a breath of fresh air to the wrestling scene, and there's no reason to think that it won't continue in the All Elite Wrestling video game. Wouldn't it be awesome if we got New Japan, or AAA, or Impact, current wrestlers, or even legends in the All Elite Wrestling video game? Number 1. Live roster updates. We're ranking this one at number 1, A, because it's the most unlike WWE 2K games, and B, because it's probably going to happen. Unlike WWE 2K's games, which have offered DLC legends and active wrestlers as paid updates, AEW's upcoming video game plans to have a live updating roster similar to most sports games today. Or as Kenny Omega himself told the New York Post, quote, "There is sort of the conundrum of, let's say, next week on Dynamite, Paul White shows up. People might want that character now, and we sort of need to have an update ready for people. We want to sort of have a system in place when there's these high demand situations we can still pump out something right away for people." End quote. These updates could include, everything from new arena sets to new gear, new hairstyles, new looks, new full-on wrestlers such as the Big Show Paul White, if they should show up, and of course, the most important thing, neck tattoos. That's going to do it for us today at Operation Sports, but if you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications and all that good stuff because it helps us out a lot. And be sure to keep it locked here for the best coverage in all of sports gaming. We've got the hardest working man in sports and video games, Brian Unique Mazik, covering everything under the sun. We got Prince, he's talking 2K, talking Madden these days, and of course, Esports Boxing Club. He is the boxing expert around here. We've got an awesome team of writers on the main page, the mothership, OperationSports.com, producing informative and entertaining articles every single day. And if you like me, well, my name is Matt Ederer. I'm here at Operation Sports a few times a month with these top 5 lists. Sometimes I write for the website as well. Keep your eyes peeled for those. You can also hear me over at Sunday Night's Main Event Radio, where I host 2 different podcasts about sports and pro wrestling. So type SNME Radio or BAM, BAM Sports Entertainment into any podcatcher you like. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay safe out there. And watch that Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson match if you haven't watched that yet. It's a great one.